Welcome to the peaceful space of sleep-friendly science, where tonight we will gently unravel the fabric of reality to explore one of its most profound and elusive concepts: time itself. Have you ever felt time seem to stretch or shrink? That steady, ticking clock feels so absolute, yet modern physics tells a far stranger story. We will gently explore whether our perception of a flowing river from past to future is real, or a persistent illusion of the human mind. Now settle in, take a deep breath, and let the soft sounds guide you as we begin tonight's journey into the unknown. Section 1. The river we all know. Come closer and let your awareness drift. Let it settle into the quiet rhythm of your own breath, the gentle rise and fall of your chest. In this space, we can begin to feel the presence of something as familiar and as constant as our own heartbeat, the passage of time. You know this feeling intimately. It is the silent narrator of your life, the invisible current upon which every moment is carried. Think of it, if you will, as a great and steady river. This is how we, as humans, have always understood it. It is a metaphor woven into the very fabric of our language and thought. We speak of the flow of time, of moments drifting by, of being swept up in the currents of history. Imagine yourself now, floating peacefully on the surface of this river. The water is calm, the temperature perfect against your skin. The sky above is a vast, gentle canvas, and you are simply a passenger on a slow, inexorable journey. Look back over your shoulder, up the river. The landscape you see there is the past. The riverbanks are sharply defined, the trees and rocks etched with perfect clarity. You can see every twist and turn the river has taken to bring you to this very spot. This is the realm of memory. It is a fixed and solid country. Its events have already happened, its songs have been sung. You can study its geography, learn its lessons, and revisit its shores in your mind, tracing the paths you have walked. The light there is the light of recollection, sometimes warm and golden, sometimes cool and shadowed, but always distinct. The past is a land you have left, but its shape has defined the river's present course. It is the source from which all your nows have flowed. You can remember it, but you cannot change its course. The water that has passed you will never flow upstream again. Now bring your attention to your immediate surroundings. Feel the water supporting you. This is the present moment. The now. It is a place of pure sensation. It is the gentle lapping of the water against you, the warmth of the sooner, the cool of the moonlight in your face. It is the sound of your own breathing mingling with the whisper of the current. The present is not a vast landscape, it is an infinitesimally thin, moving line. It is the precise point of transformation where the unhappened becomes the happened, where potential solidifies into fact. It is fleeting, impossibly so. The moment you try to grasp it, to hold the water of the now in your hands, it has already slipped through your fingers and become the past. Yet, for all its transience, this sliver of existence is the only place you ever truly are. It is the only place where you can feel, act, and be. It is the point of power, the fulcrum of your entire existence, this beautiful, ephemeral, and ever-moving now. Then turn your gaze forward, down the river. The view is very different. The landscape ahead is shrouded in a soft, luminous mist. You can see the river continuing, you know it flows onward, but its exact path is obscured. This is the future. It is a land of pure potential. The shapes you see in the mist are not yet solid, they are possibilities, dreams, hopes, and even fears. They are the songs yet to be sung, the stories yet to be written. The river may bend to the left or to the right. It may speed up into rapids or slow into a placid lake. You do not know. This uncertainty is not a source of anxiety in our peaceful space tonight. Rather, it is a source of quiet wonder. The future is an unwritten page, an undiscovered country. We navigate toward it using the lessons of the past and the rudder of our choices in the present, but its ultimate shape remains a gentle mystery. This unidirectional flow, from the solid past, through the fleeting present, and into the misty future, is what we call the arrow of time. It feels as real and fundamental as gravity. It dictates the rhythm of our lives. We wake, we live our day, and we sleep, carried forward by this relentless, one-way current. We see a glass fall and shatter, but we never see the shards of glass leap back together to reform the whole. We watch a candle burn down to a pool of wax, but we never see the wax rise up to rebuild the candle. The river only flows downstream. Cause always precedes effect. This seems to be an unbreakable law of the universe, a rule so profound that we rarely even think to question it. It governs everything we do. We plant seeds in the spring in anticipation of a summer harvest. We make promises in the present that we intend to keep in the future. We cherish memories of a past that we know we can never reclaim, but that has made us who we are. Our entire consciousness, our very sense of self, seems to be built upon this linear progression. You are the sum of your past moments, living in the single moment of the present, and looking toward the infinite moments of your future. You are a story being written one word at a time, from beginning to middle to end. And yet as we float here, on this calm, intuitive river of time, a quiet question may begin to form in the back of your mind. A question as soft as the mist that shrouds the future. Is this feeling, this powerful, all-encompassing sense of flow, the whole truth? Is time truly this universal river, carrying everything in the cosmos along at the same steady pace? Or is it possible that this river, this beautiful and useful story, is a tale our own minds are telling us? A masterpiece of perception created by the intricate workings of our brain to help us make sense of a reality that is far, far stranger than we can imagine. What if the solid past, the fleeting present, and the open future are not features of the universe, but features of us? Let that question hang in the air, not as a problem to be solved, but as a gentle invitation. An invitation to journey deeper, beyond the familiar riverbanks of our everyday experience, and into the vast, silent ocean of cosmic time, where the rules we thought we knew begin to dissolve like salt in water. Section 2, Newton's unwavering clock. For centuries, that gentle question we just asked, the one that wonders if time is just a story we tell ourselves, lay dormant, sleeping soundly beneath the surface of scientific thought. In fact, for a very long time, the most brilliant minds in the world did not question our intuitive river of time. Instead, they took this deep, human feeling and elevated it into a grand and beautiful principle, a cornerstone of their entire understanding of the universe. They gave our river a name, a definition, and a mathematical soul. Let us drift now from the soft, grassy banks of our personal river into a different kind of space. Imagine a vast, silent workshop. The air is still and smells of old paper and polished brass. Here, a great architect of thought is bent over his work, his mind not on rivers, but on something far more precise, a clock. Not just any clock, but the one true clock of the cosmos. This is the world of Sir Isaac Newton, and he is about to give us the first truly scientific picture of time. To Newton and to the generations of scientists who followed him, time was not a subjective experience. It was not a feeling that could stretch or shrink with our moods. No, time was something real, something fundamental. He called it absolute, true, and mathematical time. A powerful phrase. Let's feel the weight of those words. Absolute, true, mathematical. This time, he said, flows equably without relation to anything external. What does this mean for us floating here in our peaceful contemplation? It means that in the Newtonian universe, there is a master clock. A great, invisible metronome hidden behind the veil of the world, ticking with a perfect, unchanging rhythm. Its beat is the universal heartbeat. It is the drumbeat to which the planets dance in their orbits and the galaxies spin through the void. This clock is utterly indifferent. It does not care if you are running for your life or sleeping in a sunbeam. It is not affected by the chaotic spin of a falling leaf or the majestic, slow march of a glacier. Its tick-tock is the same for you, for me, for an astronaut hurtling through space, and for a creature that might live on a world circling the farthest star. It is a universal constant, a single, unifying pulse for all of creation. Imagine a vast, dark stage. This is Newton's concept of space, a fixed, unchanging backdrop. And time? Time is the grand, unstoppable progression of the play being performed on this stage. 1 second passes. Tick. A single, unified moment has passed for every actor on that stage. no matter where they stand. Another second passes. Tak! Another universal moment is gone, replaced by the next. In this view, the concept of now is perfectly, absolutely real. Your now, here in this moment of quiet rest, is the very same now on the surface of Mars, the same now in the heart of a distant nebula. If you could pause the entire universe at a single instant, you would capture one frame of this cosmic play, a snapshot of everything everywhere all at once. There is a profound comfort in this idea, a deep sense of order. It makes the universe a rational, predictable place. A machine, yes, but a glorious and elegant one, a clockwork cosmos operating on principles that we can discover and understand. This vision of an absolute, unwavering time became the bedrock of physics for over 200 years. It allowed us to chart the heavens, to predict the return of comets with breathtaking accuracy, to build engines and understand the laws of motion that govern our world. Time was the reliable, unchanging ruler against which all of creation's motion could be measured. It was a king, seated on a throne, watching the universe unfold according to its own immutable decree, unaffected by the drama it witnessed. So, let us rest in this ordered universe for a moment. Feel its stability, its logical grace. The river of time we imagined earlier is now a perfectly engineered canal, flowing at a constant, measurable rate for all eternity. The past is truly and absolutely gone for everyone. The future is truly and absolutely not yet here for everyone. And the present is a razor-thin, universal slice of reality that we all share. It is a simple, powerful, and deeply satisfying picture. And yet even in this perfect clockwork cathedral, a quiet dissonance begins to emerge. It doesn't come from a complex equation, but from a simple, observable fact. It comes from light. Turn your gaze upward from our imaginary river, or outward from Newton's workshop, and look to the night sky. You see the stars, tiny pinpricks of light in the velvet darkness. They seem to be there with you in your now, but they are not. The light from those stars has traveled for an immense amount of time to reach your eyes. The light from our own sun takes 8 minutes to get here. If the sun were to suddenly vanish, we would continue to feel its warmth and see its light for 8 full minutes, living in a present that, for the sun, was already in the past. Now, think of the nearest star system, Alpha Centauri. Its light takes over 4 years to cross the void and greet you. When you look at it, you are not seeing it as it is now, but as it was 4 years ago. You are looking into the past. The light from the Andromeda Galaxy, our nearest major galactic neighbor, has been on its journey for 2.5 million years. When you gaze upon that faint, misty patch in the sky, you are receiving a postcard from a time before modern humans walked the Earth. This is where the beautiful simplicity of Newton's universal now begins to fray. If we cannot know what is happening anywhere else in the universe at this very instant, what does it mean to say that there is a universal now? The universe doesn't allow for instant communication. Its ultimate speed limit, the speed of light, ensures that we are always living in a bubble of our own local present, surrounded by an ocean of other people's pasts. We are cosmic historians looking at ghosts. The information from the universe arrives on a delay. This means that my now is fundamentally isolated from your now if we are separated by any distance at all. We can agree to synchronize our watches, but that agreement is based on signals that take time to travel. The idea of a single, objective, cosmic now, that perfect, simultaneous snapshot of the entire universe, suddenly becomes an impossibility. We can never see it. We can never measure it. So, if a universal present moment exists, but it is fundamentally beyond our ability to observe or confirm, does it truly exist at all? The great, unwavering clock of Newton, which seemed so solid and real, begins to seem less like a physical mechanism and more like a beautiful, abstract idea. An assumption. A belief. And it was this realization, this quiet problem of light and time, that would eventually lead to the greatest revolution in our understanding of the cosmos since Newton himself. It was the loose thread that, when pulled, would unravel the entire clockwork universe. The perfect, absolute monarch of time was about to be dethroned. The rigid, universal canal was about to become a flowing, bending, and far more mysterious river once more. Section 3. Einstein's Malleable Fabric. Let us leave the quiet, orderly workshop of Newton behind and drift into a new, more dynamic landscape of thought. Imagine space as no longer a fixed, dark stage. Instead, picture it as a vast, flexible sheet of fabric like an infinite trampoline stretching out in all directions. And time is not a separate entity, not a universal clock ticking in the background. Instead, in this new vision, time is woven directly into the fabric of space itself. They are one thing, a unified, four-dimensional continuum called space-time. This is the universe as reimagined by a young patent clerk named Albert Einstein, and it changes everything. In this new cosmos, our river of time is no longer a straight, predictable canal. It has become a living, dynamic entity. It can be bent, warped, and shaped by the presence of matter and energy. Place a heavy bowling ball onto our cosmic trampoline. You see how the fabric sinks, creating a deep well, a curvature. This, Einstein said, is what gravity is. It's not a mysterious force pulling things together, but simply the shape of space-time itself. Planets orbit the sun not because they are being yanked by an invisible rope, but because they are following the straightest possible path through the curved space-time created by the sun's immense mass. They are like marbles rolling around the edge of that well in the fabric. Now here is the truly wondrous part. Because time is woven into this fabric, it too is affected by this curvature. Where gravity is stronger closer to that heavy bowling ball, the fabric of space-time is more warped. And in this warped region, time itself slows down. Let this sink in gently. It is a profound departure from everything we have known. Time is not absolute. It is relative. Your experience of time's passage depends on where you are and how you are moving. Imagine two friends, both with perfectly synchronized, hyper-accurate clocks. One friend stays on Earth, while the other boards a spaceship and travels to a place with much stronger gravity, perhaps orbiting very close to a massive neutron star or a black hole. They spend some time there in that deep gravitational well and then return to Earth. When they meet again and compare their clocks, they will find something astonishing. The clock of the space-traveling friend will have ticked more slowly. For them, less time will have passed. They will be physically younger than the friend who remained on Earth. This isn't science fiction. It is a measurable, proven reality. We see it every day, even here on Earth, in tiny, almost imperceptible ways. The satellites that provide the GPS for your phone or car have to account for this effect. They are in a region of slightly weaker gravity than we are on the surface, and their clocks tick just a fraction of a second faster than ours. It's a tiny amount, a few microseconds a day, but if scientists didn't constantly correct for it, the entire GPS system would fail within hours, sending you miles off course. Your phone works because it understands that time is not the same everywhere. But gravity is not the only thing that can alter the flow of time. Speed has the same effect. The faster you move through space, the slower you move through time. This is the other half of Einstein's revolution, known as special relativity. Imagine our two friends again. This time, one stays on Earth while the other boards a spaceship that travels at a significant fraction of the speed of light. They journey out to a distant star and then return. For the astronaut on the fast-moving ship, time itself would have dilated or stretched out. While decades might have passed for the friend on Earth, the astronaut might have aged only a few years. They would return to a world that is now deep in their future. They have literally traveled into the future, not by a machine that leaps through moments, but simply by moving very, very fast. Our intuitive river of time has become a multitude of streams, each flowing at its own rate. Every person, every planet, every galaxy has its own personal clock, its own local time. There's no universal now. The idea of a single, simultaneous moment across the cosmos is not just unobservable, as we discovered earlier. According to Einstein, it is meaningless. Think about what this implies. If I am standing still and you are walking past me, my now is a different slice through space-time than your now. Our presents are tilted relative to each other. What I consider to be happening right now on a distant galaxy You, in your motion, might consider to be in that galaxy's future. And someone walking in the opposite direction might see that same event as being in that galaxy's past. All three viewpoints are equally valid. The question, what is happening on Andromeda right now, has no single answer. The answer depends entirely on who is asking and how they are moving. This shatters the very foundation of our common-sense view of time. The solid, fixed past and the open, misty future are no longer so clearly defined. My future could contain events that are in your past. Your present could contain events that are in my future. The neat, orderly line of time has dissolved into a complex, interwoven tapestry. So, where does that leave our human experience? Why do we still feel time is a steady, flowing river if physics tells us it's this strange, malleable substance? It is because we, on our little planet, all move at very slow speeds relative to one another and experience a nearly identical gravitational field. We are all floating down the same gentle, local tributary of the great cosmic river. The relativistic effects are so minuscule in our daily lives that they are completely unnoticeable. Our brains have evolved in this environment, and so they have constructed a model of time that works perfectly for our scale, the simple, linear, Newtonian model. Our minds have built a useful illusion, a simplified user interface for a reality of staggering complexity. This is a humbling and awe-inspiring thought. The very ground of being, the steady rhythm we thought was the pulse of the universe, is instead a local phenomenon. The clock we trust is our own, not creation's. We are each carrying our own personal timeline, our own unique thread in the grand fabric of space-time. But this new, stranger picture of time raises an even deeper question. If time can slow down and speed up, if the past, present, and future are not absolute, then what about the arrow of time? Why does our own personal time always seem to move in one direction? Why do we always move from yesterday to tomorrow and never the other way around? We see a cup fall and shatter, but never the reverse. Even in Einstein's universe, this 1A street of time persists. The cause of this relentless forward motion is not found in the laws of gravity or motion. To understand that, we must journey into an entirely different realm of science, a world of steam, chaos, and probability. Section 4, the unidirectional arrow of entropy. Even in Einstein's strange new world of malleable time, one familiar feature remains steadfastly in place, the arrow. Time for us, for our personal experience, still only flows one way. You remember yesterday, but you don't remember tomorrow. You were born, you live, you will pass on. The river, no matter how it bends or slows, never reverses its course. But why? The fundamental laws of physics, from Newton's mechanics to Einstein's relativity, and even the laws of quantum mechanics we will soon explore, are surprisingly ambivalent about the direction of time. Most of their equations would work just as well run forwards or backwards. If you watch a video of a single planet orbiting a star, you cannot tell if the film is playing in reverse. The orbit is just as valid, just as physically plausible in either direction. So if the fundamental laws don't seem to care which way time goes, why does our universe exhibit such a powerful, undeniable, one-way direction? The clue is not in the graceful dance of planets, but in the messiness of everyday life. It's in the steam rising from a cup of tea, the milk mixing into coffee, the smoke dispersing from a snuffed candle, the ice melting in a glass of water. Let us find a place of quiet observation. Imagine a perfectly ordered room. The books are all arranged on the shelves. The sand in an hourglass is neatly separated. The air molecules are, for a moment, all gathered in one corner. This is a state of low entropy. Entropy is a concept from thermodynamics, the science of heat and energy, and it is, in simple terms, a measure of disorder, randomness, or chaos. A room where everything is in its proper place is a highly ordered, low-entropy system. Now, imagine you simply wait. You do nothing. Over time, what happens? Dust settles on the books. The hourglass sand mixes together. The air molecules spread out to fill the entire room uniformly. The room naturally moves from a state of order to a state of disorder. This is the essence of the second law of thermodynamics, one of the most fundamental and unbreakable laws in all of physics. It states that in an isolated system, entropy disorder never decreases. It can stay the same, but it will almost always increase. Think of it like shuffling a deck of new cards. The deck starts in a perfectly ordered state. Ace, king, queen, jack, and so on, for each suit. This is a low-entropy state. There is only one way for the cards to be in this perfect order. Now shuffle the deck. What are the chances you will shuffle them back into that perfect order? Infinitesimally small. What are the chances they will end up in some random, jumbled, disordered state? Overwhelmingly high. There are vastly more ways for a system to be disordered than for it to be ordered. The universe simply favors probability. It tumbles naturally toward the most likely state, and the most likely state is always one of greater messiness. This, many physicists believe, is the secret behind time's arrow. The reason time flows forward is because the universe as a whole is moving from a state of lower entropy to a state of higher entropy. Let's trace this back to the very beginning. Our universe, we believe, began with the Big Bang. For reasons we don't yet fully understand, the universe started in a tremendously hot, dense, and, crucially, a very low entropy state. It was an incredibly ordered beginning, like a cosmic egg perfectly formed before it cracked. Ever since that initial moment, for the last 13.8 billion years, the universe has been expanding, cooling, and unwinding. It's been moving from that initial, improbable state of order towards a state of maximum disorder. The shattering of a glass is a perfect example of this. The whole glass is an ordered structure. Its atoms are bound together in a specific low-entropy arrangement. When it falls and shatters, its atoms are scattered into a disordered, high-entropy state. There are countless ways for the atoms to be scattered as shards on the floor, but only one way for them to be in the form of a glass. So we see the glass shatter. We never see the shards spontaneously gather the energy from the floor and leap back together into a whole glass, because that would require the universe to move towards a less probable, more ordered state. It would be like a shuffled deck of cards suddenly unshuffling itself. It's not strictly impossible, but it is so statistically unlikely that it would never, ever happen in the lifetime of the universe. So, the arrow of time is not a fundamental property of time itself. It is a statistical phenomenon. It's an emergent property of a universe that started in a special, highly ordered condition. The past is the direction of low entropy. The future is the direction of high entropy. Our perception of time's flow is simply our observation of this grand, cosmic process of unscrambling. This also explains why we can have memories of the past but not of the future. The process of forming a memory in your brain is a physical process. It involves creating connections between neurons, storing information. This process, like all physical processes, increases the overall entropy of the universe. A memory is an ordered record of a past event. We can create these records because we are moving along with the rest of the universe toward a more disordered future. We cannot remember the future because no such record has been created yet. The future is the state of higher disorder that has not yet come to be. This is a profound and somewhat unsettling idea. It means that the flow of time we experience, that steady river, is intimately connected to decay, to chaos, to the universe slowly and surely running down. It is the same process that makes an abandoned house fall into ruin and a hot cup of tea go cold. The beautiful, poignant 1A journey of our lives is tethered to the iron law of universal disorder. But this perspective also opens up a new, even more mind-bending possibility. If our sense of time's flow is just a consequence of entropy, and Einstein showed us that past, present, and future are not absolute, what does this imply about the nature of reality itself? If my now is just a slice through space-time and the flow is just an illusion created by increasing disorder, perhaps the entire river of time past, present, and future exists all at once. Perhaps the unfolding we experience is the illusion and the reality is something static, complete, and eternal. This takes us to our next destination, the strange, frozen landscape of the block universe. Section 5, the frozen block universe. Let us allow the idea of entropy's arrow to settle like dust motes in a quiet room. We've seen how time can bend and stretch and how its forward motion seems tied to the universe's inevitable march toward disorder. Now we are going to take these ideas to their most logical and perhaps most startling conclusion. We are going to explore a vision of reality where the river of time ceases to flow altogether. I want you to imagine not a river this time, but a book. A very large, very heavy book. This book is the history of the universe. The first page is the Big Bang. The last page is the final heat death of the cosmos. And every single moment that has ever happened or ever will happen is a page in between. Your birth is on one page. This very moment as you listen to my voice is on another. Your breakfast tomorrow is on a page a little further on. The rise and fall of empires, the birth of stars, the silent drift of galaxies, every event is inscribed in its proper place on its own page. Now imagine this book is closed. You are holding it in your hands. In this state, all the pages exist simultaneously. The first page is no more or less real than the last page. They are all simply there, part of the complete story. This is the essence of the block universe theory, also known as eternalism. It is a model of reality that follows directly from Einstein's relativity. If, as we've learned, there is no universal now, and if past, present, and future are relative to the observer, then the most straightforward way to reconcile this is to assume that all moments are equally real. The distinction we make between them, past, present, future, is not a feature of the universe itself, but a feature of our consciousness, our unique perspective as we read the book. Think of it like a reel of film. The entire movie beginning, middle, and end exists all at once on the celluloid strip. But when you project it onto a screen, you experience it one frame at a time, creating the illusion of motion and the passage of time. In the block universe model, our consciousness is like the projector's lamp. It illuminates one frame, one page of the universe at a time, and we call that illuminated frame the present. As our consciousness moves along the timeline, we get the powerful sensation that time is flowing, that the future is becoming the present, and the present is becoming the past. But according to this theory, this flow is an illusion. The future is not becoming anything. It's already there, just as the past is still there. We are simply encountering it. This is a profoundly different way of seeing your life. Your life is not a journey you are taking, but a complete object, a finished sculpture that exists in its entirety within the four-dimensional block of space-time. Every moment of your joy, your sorrow, your quiet contemplation, your triumphs, and your trials, they are all permanent features of this block. They are not gone. They have not ceased to exist. They are simply in a different location in the dimension of time, just as your childhood home is in a different location in the dimensions of space. You are not there now, but the place still exists. Similarly, your 10th birthday is not happening now, but the event of your 10th birthday is a permanent, real coordinate in the map of space-time. Let's feel the weight of this idea. It means that the dinosaurs are not just a memory or a collection of fossils. In the block of space-time, they are still roaming the Earth. The Great Pyramids are not just ancient monuments. In their proper time location, they are being built. Loved ones you may have lost are not gone. Their existence is a finished, beautiful thread woven into the tapestry. You are just not at that point in the tapestry right now. They are still there, in their now, just as you are here, in yours. There is a strange and profound comfort in this, a sense of permanence and completeness to all of creation. Nothing is ever truly lost. But it also raises deep and challenging questions about free will. If the entire book of the universe is already written, if every page from the beginning to the end already exists, what does that mean for our choices? Does it mean the future is predetermined? It's a subtle point. The block universe doesn't necessarily mean everything is fated in a classical sense. Your choices, your deliberations, your struggles, they are all part of what's written on the pages. The page describing you making a decision is the page where the decision is made. The act of choosing is part of the static reality. It's not that you don't have a choice, it's that the choice you will make is already a feature of the existing landscape of space-time. We experience it as a moment of decision, but from a timeless, four-dimensional perspective, the outcome is already part of the whole. This can feel disempowering, as if we are just puppets acting out a pre-written script, but we can also see it from another angle. Perhaps we are not just the characters on the page, but in some sense we are also the authors. Our consciousness, our choices, are what give the pages their content. The feeling of free will is the experience of writing the page that we are on. Let's step back from the book, from the film reel, and try one more metaphor. Imagine a vast, frozen landscape like a glacier. This is the block universe. And our consciousness is like a solitary walker with a single, small lantern. The lantern illuminates a tiny patch of ice around our feet. That patch is the present. Everything behind us in the darkness is the past. Everything ahead of us, also in darkness, is the future. We walk forward and the patch of light moves with us. This gives us the sensation of moving through time. But the landscape itself, the entire glacier, from start to finish, is already there. It is not being created as we walk. We are simply revealing it to ourselves moment by moment. This idea that reality is fundamentally timeless and static is a major contender in modern physics. It provides a clean and elegant solution to the puzzles of relativity. It presents a universe that is whole, complete, and eternal. But it does so at the cost of our most cherished intuition, the feeling that time flows and that the future is genuinely open and unwritten. And yet, this is not the only story physics tells. As we journey ever deeper into the nature of reality, we find that at the very smallest scales, things get even stranger. The solid, frozen block of the universe might itself dissolve when we look at it through the lens of the quantum world, a realm where certainty gives way to probability and the nature of time becomes the most profound mystery of all. Section 6. Time in the Quantum Realm. Let us now let the vast, silent, frozen landscape of the block universe recede from our minds. We have journeyed through time as a flowing river, a universal clock, a flexible fabric, and a static block. Now we must undertake our most challenging journey yet. We must shrink our perspective smaller and smaller, past the scale of planets and people, past molecules and atoms, down into the very heart of reality itself, the quantum realm. Here, in this subatomic world, the rules of the universe as we know them begin to fray and dissolve into a shimmering haze of possibility. And time becomes the deepest enigma of all. Imagine a world not of solid objects, but of dancing clouds of potential. In the quantum world, a particle like an electron doesn't have a definite position until you measure it. Before that moment of observation, it exists in a state called superposition. It is in all of its possible locations at once. It is not a tiny billiard ball, but a wave of probability, a maybe spread out over space. Only when an observer interacts with it, when we look at it, does this wave of possibility collapse into a single, definite reality. The particle chooses a position, and only then does it become real in the way we understand it. This fundamental uncertainty has profound implications for our understanding of time. In the classical world of Newton and Einstein, things follow predictable paths. If you know the position and momentum of a planet, you can calculate its entire future and past trajectory. But in the quantum realm, this certainty vanishes. You can only speak in terms of probabilities. You can say there is a certain chance an atom will decay in the next second, but you can never know for certain when it will happen. The when seems to be governed by pure, fundamental randomness. This is where the very concept of a smooth, continuous flow of time begins to break down. Some theories in quantum gravity propose that space-time itself is not a smooth fabric, but is pixelated or quantized, just like energy and matter. Imagine our cosmic trampoline from Einstein's world. If you look closely enough, you would see it's not a continuous sheet, but is woven from discrete, incredibly tiny threads or pixels. The smallest possible unit of space is called the Planck length, and the smallest possible unit of time is the Planck time. This is the shortest possible moment, the tick of the universe's most fundamental clock. It is an unimaginably short duration, about 10 to the power of minus 43 seconds. Below the scale, the very concepts of before and after may lose their meaning entirely. Time, as a continuous line, dissolves into a series of discrete quantum snapshots. Let's try to visualize this. Think back to the reel of film representing the block universe. Quantum mechanics suggests that if you zoomed in on the film strip itself, you would see that each frame is made of tiny, shimmering dots of possibility. And the progression from one frame to the next might not be a smooth transition, but a series of probabilistic jumps. One of the most profound mysteries in all of physics lies in trying to unite Einstein's theory of gravity with the laws of quantum mechanics. When they try to write an equation that describes the universe as a Julia quantum equation for the entire block of space-time, something remarkable happens. In the most famous of these, the Wheeler-DeWitt equation, the variable for time simply drops out. It vanishes. Let that settle. The master equation that attempts to describe the entirety of reality doesn't seem to include time at all. It describes a static, timeless quantum state of the universe. This has led some physicists to a radical conclusion. Perhaps at the most fundamental level, time does not exist. It is not a basic ingredient of the universe. Instead, time is an emergent phenomenon. It's something that appears at a larger, more classical scale, in the same way that the wetness of water emerges from the interactions of individual H2O molecules, neither of which is wet on its own, or the way the temperature of a gas emerges from the motion of its atoms, though a single atom has no temperature. So, how could our rich experience of time emerge from a timeless reality? One idea is through a process called quantum entanglement. Imagine two quantum particles are linked in such a way that their fates are intertwined no matter how far apart they are. If you measure a property of one particle, you instantly know the corresponding property of the other. Einstein famously called this spooky action at a distance. Some physicists now propose that the entire universe is a vast, interconnected web of these entangled particles. What we experience as the passage of time might be the unfolding of these correlations. The universe can be seen as a static system, but it contains within it clocks, subsystems that change relative to one another. Our brain, our solar system, a decaying atom, these are all clocks. The time we perceive is simply the changing state of our local part of the universe relative to the changing state of another part. We are part of the clock, reading other clocks. The universe isn't evolving in time. The universe is the evolution, and we, as observers embedded within it, perceive this web of interconnected changes as a temporal flow. This is a deep and difficult concept. It suggests that the familiar river of our experience is a grand illusion emerging from a strange, static, timeless, and probabilistic quantum foundation. The universe is not a story unfolding in time. The universe is a static set of quantum correlations, and our consciousness, by its very nature, reads these correlations sequentially, creating the narrative we call time. We have now journeyed from our intuitive feeling of a flowing river to the very edge of modern physics, to a place where time itself seems to evaporate into a fog of quantum uncertainty. We have seen time as absolute, then relative, then as a product of disorder, then as a static dimension, and now, perhaps, as a complete illusion. It seems the more we scrutinize time, the less solid it becomes. It slips through the fingers of our equations like sand. And perhaps this is the final clue. Perhaps to truly understand our relationship with time, we need to look away from the cosmos, away from the equations and the particles, and turn our gaze inward. Perhaps the final piece of the puzzle lies not in the universe, but in the observer. It's time to explore the most intimate and personal time machine there is, the human brain. Section 7. The Brain as a Timekeeper. Having journeyed to the farthest reaches of the cosmos and the smallest scales of reality, let us now return. Let us gently pull our awareness back from the quantum foam and the block universe, and bring it home, to the soft, quiet, intricate universe that resides within your own skull. For all our searching in the outer world, the most immediate and tangible experience of time is not forged in stars or particles, but is woven, moment by moment, by the 3 pounds of neural tissue nestled behind your eyes. Your brain is the ultimate time machine, the master clockmaker, the storyteller that takes the raw data of reality and composes the symphony of your life. Think about how subjective your feeling of time is. An hour spent with a loved one can feel like a minute. A minute spent waiting for important news can feel like an hour. When you are engrossed in a creative task, hours can vanish in a flow state unnoticed. When you are bored or in pain, time slows to a thick, viscous crawl. If time were a simple, objective feature of the outside world, like the temperature on a thermometer, how could it be so profoundly shaped by your internal state? By your emotions, your attention, your memories? The truth is, your brain does not have a single, central clock. There isn't one specific spot, one ticking metronome that governs your sense of time's passage. Instead, your perception of time is a complex construction, a symphony played by many different sections of the neural orchestra all working together. Let's explore some of these players. Deep within your brain, in the cerebellum, are circuits that seem to be involved in timing on the scale of milliseconds to seconds. This is the rhythm section. It's what allows you to clap along to a beat, to swing a bat to meet a ball, to feel the cadence of speech. It's a fast, precise, almost unconscious form of timekeeping. Then there is your memory, orchestrated largely by the hippocampus. Memory is absolutely crucial for your sense of time. To perceive a duration, to know that a moment has passed, you must be able to hold the beginning of that moment in your mind and compare it to the end. Your short-term memory acts like a buffer, a temporary holding space for recent events. By stringing together these snapshots from the buffer, your brain creates the feeling of a continuous, flowing present. Without this ability to recall the immediate past, the world would be a confusing flicker of disconnected nows with no sense of duration or progression. Your attention also plays a critical role. The more attention you devote to the passage of time itself, the slower it seems to go. This is why a watched pot never boils. Your brain dedicates more neural resources to processing the temporal details, essentially creating more frames of the experience, which makes the duration feel longer. Conversely, when your attention is captured by something fascinating, your brain allocates fewer resources to timekeeping. It's too busy processing the interesting information. Time seems to speed up because your brain is essentially taking fewer temporal snapshots. You look up, and the clock has jumped forward because you weren't paying attention to its ticks. And then there are emotions. Your emotional state dramatically colors your perception of time. When you are afraid, for example, your amygdalate brain's fear center kicks into high gear. This heightened state of arousal seems to cause your brain to record memories in much finer detail. It lays down more information per second. Later, when you recall this frightening event, there is so much data to unpack that your brain interprets the event as having lasted longer than it actually did. This is why people in car accidents often report that time seemed to slow down. The event didn't actually take longer, their brain just created a high-definition recording of it. So, the now you experience is not a simple, passive observation of an external reality. It is an active, ongoing creation. Your brain gathers sensory information, sights, sounds, feelings from a brief window of a few seconds. It holds this information in a sort of cognitive workspace, integrates it with your memories of the past and your expectations for the future, and weaves it all together into a coherent, seamless story. This story is your conscious experience of the present moment. Scientists call this the specious present. It's specious or illusory because it's not an infinitely thin line, as we once imagined. It has a duration, a thickness. It is the short-term buffer of your mind, the mental stage on which the play of your life unfolds. This construction is a masterpiece of efficiency. It smooths over the blinks of your eyes, the gaps in sensory input, the noisy, chaotic firings of individual neurons, and presents you with a stable, flowing, cinematic reality. It takes the messy, disjointed data from the world and from your own body and edits it into a beautiful, coherent film. This means that the river of time we feel so profoundly is, in a very real sense, a river of our own making. Its pace, its texture, its very existence as a flow is a product of our neural architecture. We don't perceive time, our brain generates time. It's a biological strategy that has evolved to help us survive. A creature that can anticipate the future based on the past, that can predict the pounce of a predator or the changing of the seasons, is far more likely to survive and reproduce. Our sense of linear time, our ability to mentally travel along this constructed timeline, is one of humanity's greatest evolutionary advantages. This brings us to a place of quiet wonder. The grand cosmological drama of time's nature finds its most intimate expression inside you. The block universe may be static, the quantum realm may be timeless, but here, in the sanctuary of your mind, time is alive. It is a dynamic, personal, and deeply meaningful experience. It is the rhythm of your thoughts, the pace of your heart, the narrative that gives your life its shape and meaning. And this understanding invites us to look more closely at one of the most powerful functions of this internal time machine, its ability to journey backward, to navigate the vast and ghostly landscape of what has been. It's time to reflect on the nature of memory. Section 8. The ghostly landscape of memory. Let us now allow our awareness to drift into that most personal and mysterious of landscapes, the one created by our own minds. We have spoken of the brain as a timekeeper and active creator of our present moment. Now let us explore its most remarkable feat of temporal navigation, the act of remembering. For what is memory if not a form of time travel? It is the ability to step out of the river of the present and wander along the banks of a past that is, in one sense, gone forever, and in another, eternally present within us. Imagine your memories form a vast, sprawling country inside of you. It is a place you can visit anytime. Unlike the physical world, which you must traverse with your body, you can journey through the landscape of memory instantly with a single thought. You can stand for a moment in the sunshine of a childhood afternoon, feel the texture of a lost sweater, or hear the echo of a loved one's laugh. This country is uniquely yours. Its geography is composed of your joys, your sorrows, your learnings, and your quiet, forgotten moments. But this landscape is not a perfect, pristine recording of the past. It is not like a video file stored on a hard drive to be replayed with perfect fidelity. The block universe model might suggest a static, unchanging past, but the past as it exists within you is a living, breathing, and constantly changing thing. It is a ghostly landscape, shimmering and fluid. Every time you access a memory, you are not simply replaying it. You are rebuilding it. Your brain summons fragments of information, a sensory detail here, an emotional tone there, a factual snippet from somewhere else, and it weaves them back together in the present moment. And in this act of reconstruction, the memory can be subtly altered. It is colored by your current mood, your new experiences, your present understanding of the world. The storyteller in your mind is also an editor, a revisionist. Think of a favorite story you like to tell about your past. Have you noticed how it might have become smoother over the years? The funny part's a little funnier, the sad part's a little more poignant. You have polished this memory with each retelling. This is not a failing of your brain. It is one of its most remarkable features. It is constantly updating your past to make it more useful for your present and future. It integrates new lessons, reframes old hurts, and strengthens the connections that form the backbone of your identity. Your memory is not a dusty archive. It is a dynamic, living map that you are constantly redrawing to help you navigate the territory ahead. So, the past is not a fixed, solid country behind you. It is more like a ghostly companion that walks with you, always present, its form shifting and changing as you do. Its influence is profound. The landscape of your memory informs every decision you make, every perception you have. When you meet a new person, you are subconsciously comparing them to the vast gallery of characters who inhabit your past. When you face a challenge, you draw upon a library of past struggles and successes. Your past provides the context, the meaning, and the texture for your present moment. It is the soil from which your now grows. Let's feel this connection. Take a gentle breath and allow a pleasant memory to surface. Don't force it. Just let one emerge from the mist. Perhaps it's the feeling of sunshine on your skin, the taste of a favorite meal, the sound of a piece of music. Notice how this memory is not just a flat image. It has a feeling tone. It carries an echo of the emotion you felt in that original moment. A memory is a hologram of a past now, and it can bring the warmth of that past into the reality of your present. This is the power of your internal time machine. It allows the past to live within you, not as a burden, but as a source of wisdom, comfort, and identity. You are a walking, breathing accumulation of all your yesterdays. Every person you have ever been, the child, the adolescent, the young adult, still exists within the layered geology of your mind. They are not gone. You carry their lessons, their dreams, and their experiences with you. To understand yourself is to be a gentle archaeologist of your own past. But this ghostly landscape also contains shadows. There are regions of this inner country that may be painful to visit, valleys of sorrow or regret. Our minds, in their wisdom, often build fences around these areas. Yet, even these difficult memories serve a purpose. They are scars that tell a story of healing and survival. They are the deep roots that ground our compassion and our empathy for ourselves and for others. They remind us of our resilience. The existence of this internal, malleable past offers a fascinating counterpoint to the physical models of time we have explored. While physics may debate whether the past is a fixed block or has vanished completely, neuroscience shows us that, for us, the past is an active and influential presence. It is a story we are constantly telling ourselves, about ourselves. And the way we tell that story profoundly shapes the person we are today. If we can see our memories not as immutable facts but as living stories, we are given a gentle power. The power to choose which parts of the landscape to visit. The power to reinterpret old events in the light of new wisdom. The power to forgive both others and ourselves, effectively changing the emotional charge of a past event. We cannot change what happened, but we can change the meaning it holds for us now. We can change the story. And as we stand here in quiet contemplation of this living, ghostly landscape of memory within, our gaze naturally begins to turn in the other direction. If the past is a country we can revisit and reinterpret, what then is the future? Is it a pre-written, unread chapter in the block universe, or is it something else entirely? Let us now turn our attention from the well-trodden paths of yesterday to the unwritten, misty shores of tomorrow. Section 9, the unwritten shore of the future. Let the ghostly landscape of memory soften, its details receding like a shoreline in the mist. Let us turn our gaze from the country of the past with its well-trodden paths and familiar landmarks and look forward. We stand now at the edge of the present moment, gazing out at the vast, mysterious expanse we call the future. What is this realm we are constantly sailing toward yet never seem to reach? Imagine you are standing on a quiet shore at the edge of the world. The sand beneath your feet is the solid ground of the present moment. Behind you lies the continent of the past. And before you, stretching out to an infinite horizon, is a great, calm ocean veiled in a soft, shimmering fog. This is the future. Listen closely. You can hear the gentle, rhythmic sound of waves lapping at the shore. Each wave is a possibility, a potential pathway, a story that might be told. The future, from this perspective, is not a place but a state of pure potential. It is the sea of the not yet. It is unwritten, unformed, and radically open. This is the future of our deepest intuition. It is the future of free will, of hope, of creation. In this view, the universe is not a finished book, but a story that is being written moment by moment. And you are one of its authors. Your choices, your intentions, your actions, they are the rudder of the small boat you are sailing upon this sea. When you make a decision, you are choosing to sail toward one of the shimmering possibilities in the mist, helping to call it forth from the realm of potential into the solid reality of the present. This vision of an open future finds a surprising echo in the strange world of quantum mechanics. Remember the particle that exists as a wave of probability, only collapsing into a single reality when observed? Perhaps the universe itself operates this way. The future may exist as a vast superposition of all possible futures. And the passage of time, the collapse of the wave function at every moment, is the process by which one of these potential futures is selected to become the new present. If this is true, then the future is not just unknown, it is genuinely undetermined. There is a real newness coming into the world at every instant. The universe is creative at its very core. And we, as conscious observers and agents, are participants in this cosmic creativity. To set an intention, to make a choice, is to cast a vote for one of these potential realities. It is to help sculpt the unfolding wave of what will be. To live is to be in a constant, creative dialogue with the quantum sea of possibility. This is a deeply empowering and hopeful vision. It makes our lives profoundly meaningful. The future is not something that happens to us. It is something we help create. We are not just passengers on the river. We are navigators on the open ocean. Now, let us hold this beautiful image of the open sea in our minds, and gently, without letting it go, let's consider the other possibility. Let us turn our gaze back to the idea of the block universe, to the great book of space-time. From this perspective, the future is not an open sea of potential, but the next, unread chapter of the book. The ink is already dry. The story of the universe, from the first page to the last, is already complete. The feeling of sailing on an open ocean is an illusion created by the fact that we can only read one word, one sentence, one page at a time. The future is not uncertain because it is unwritten, it is uncertain only to us because we have not reached that page yet. Your choices, your struggles, your moments of sudden insight, they are all there, written into the narrative. The surprise you feel, the sense of suspense about what comes next, is the genuine experience of the character living the story. But the author has already finished the work. This deterministic view can feel cold or disempowering at first, as if we are merely puppets. But we can choose to see it in a different light. The story that is written may be one of exquisite beauty and complexity. To know that even our struggles and our moments of confusion are part of a perfect, complete, and meaningful pattern can bring a profound sense of peace. It relieves us of the burden of getting it right. Our task is not to write the story, but to live our part of it with as much presence, authenticity, and grace as we can muster. It is to inhabit our character fully. There is a deep trust in this, a surrender to the grand narrative of existence. So, we are left with two profound and seemingly contradictory visions of the future. Is it an open sea of possibility that we help to create? Or is it an unread chapter in a book that is already finished? Perhaps the truth, as it so often does, lies somewhere in between or transcends both. Perhaps the large-scale currents of the cosmic ocean are fixed by the laws of physics and the arrow of entropy, but within those currents we have the freedom to tack our sails, to navigate our own course. Perhaps the major plot points of the book are set, but we have the freedom to improvise our own dialogue. Ultimately, from our perspective, as beings living within time, the distinction may not matter as much as we think. Because whether the future is open or fixed, our experience of it is the same. It feels like an open frontier. And it is this feeling that guides us. We must act as if our choices matter. We must navigate as if the sea is open. So, how do we stand on the shore of the present and face the mist? Not with anxiety about what is to come and not with a frantic need to control it, but with a quiet and steady intention. To set an intention is to send a gentle ripple out into the waters of the future. It is to align our inner state with a possibility we wish to welcome. Hope is not a denial of uncertainty, it is a quiet trust in the goodness of the unfolding story, whether we are writing it or merely reading it. The future does not demand your prediction. It does not need your worry. It simply asks for your presence. It asks that you meet it when it arrives and becomes your now with the fullness of your being. And so, having gazed upon the ghostly landscapes of the past and the misty oceans of the future, we realize that both are, in a sense, abstractions. They are mental places. The only place of true power, true reality, the only place where life is actually lived is on the narrow, sandy shore between them. It is time to bring our journey home to the profound and simple mystery of the present moment. Section 10, Embracing the Point of the Now. And so we drift back from the misty shores of the unwritten future, back from the ghostly landscapes of memory. We have journeyed so far tonight. We have stood in Newton's orderly workshop and heard the tick of a single universal clock. We have floated on Einstein's cosmic fabric, feeling it bend and warp, stretching and slowing the river of time itself. We have felt the relentless pull of entropy's arrow, the universe's grand, chaotic march from order into dust. We have held the entire history of creation in our hands, a finished book in the silent, frozen reality of the block universe. And we have peered into the shimmering, probabilistic haze of the quantum realm, where time itself seemed to dissolve into nothing at all. We have returned from this grand tour of space-time with our arms full of beautiful, contradictory, and profound ideas. Time is a steady river. Time is a multitude of personal streams. Time is an illusion of disorder. The past, present, and future are fixed and eternal. The future is an open sea of quantum potential. Time is a grand cosmic drama. Time does not exist at the fundamental level. To hold all these ideas at once is to hold a paradox. It can feel dizzying, like standing on the edge of a cliff, the ground of your certainty having crumbled away. And this is the final, most important step of our journey together tonight. It is to realize that the goal was never to find a single, final answer. The universe may never give up its ultimate secret about the nature of time. Perhaps the question itself, what is time, is a question only a time-bound creature like a human could ask, and therefore one that has no answer outside of our own experience. The true peace is found not in solving the paradox, but in letting it be, in accepting the mystery, and in realizing that regardless of which of these stories is truer, if the truth is something far stranger than we can yet imagine, they all point us back to one single, inescapable, and infinitely precious place. This very moment, right now. Feel it. Feel the gentle weight of your body, the softness of the surface supporting you. Listen to the quiet rhythm of your own breathing, the slow, steady in-breath, the soft, complete out-breath. This is the only place you ever truly are. If the block universe is real, and the whole of your life is a finished sculpture, then this present moment is the only point of that sculpture you can currently touch. It is the point of sensation, the point of being. To be fully present is to appreciate the finished artistry of your own existence at this coordinate in spacetime. There is a deep peace in this, a surrender to the beauty of the whole. If the future is a sea of quantum potential, and you are a co-creator of reality, then this present moment is the only place from which you can cast your vote. It is the fulcrum of creation. Your attention, your intention, your state of being now is what sends ripples into that sea of possibility. To be fully present is to wield your gentle, creative power with awareness and care. If time is a construction of your own brain, a story it tells to make sense of the world, then this present moment is the only moment the storyteller is in. Your brain can remember the past and anticipate the future, but it lives and weaves right here. To be fully present is to become a conscious listener to the story your own mind is telling, to appreciate the artistry of your own consciousness. Do you see? Every grand theory, every cosmic puzzle ultimately collapses into the profound simplicity of this instant. The past is a memory, a ghost in your mind. The future is an anticipation, a dream in your mind. The only thing that is not purely a mental construct is the raw, sensory reality of now. The feeling of air on your skin, the faint, distant sound, the feeling of life in your own body. This is the point where all the timelines, all the theories, all the possibilities converge. This is the point of power. In the now, there is no regret, for regret lives in the memory of the past. In the now, there is no anxiety, for anxiety lives in the imagination of the future. There is only what is, and in the simple acceptance of what is, there is a boundless peace. Think of your consciousness not as a traveler on a long road, but as a single, stationary point of light. And the universe of time in all its complexity flows through this point of light. You do not need to chase after the future or cling to the past. You simply need to be the light, to be present, aware, and still. Everything you have ever been has led you to this point. Everything you will ever be will emerge from it. All of your power, all of your peace, all of your life is concentrated right here in the gentle, eternal, and ever-present now. And so, our journey through the nature of time comes to a gentle close. We have asked the biggest of questions and found our way back to the simplest of truths, the peace that resides in this very moment. Let the grand theories dissolve now, like sugar in warm water, leaving only a gentle sweetness in your mind. There is nothing left to figure out. There is nothing to solve. There is only the quiet invitation to rest. Let your awareness settle on the soft, steady rhythm of your own breath, the oldest and most faithful clock you have. Follow the gentle river of air as it flows in and as it flows out. Each breath is a perfect, complete moment, a tiny, peaceful now. Allow the soft tides of drowsiness to wash over you, pulling you gently away from the shores of waking thought and out into the deep, quiet, timeless ocean of sleep. May your rest be deep and restorative. May your dreams be kind, and may you awaken refreshed into the newness of another present moment. Sleep well.